Ladies and gentlemen, friends and dreamers, let me have your attention for just a moment. You see, life it has a way of whispering, doesn't it? Sometimes it screams, sometimes it knocks you down, but make no mistake, life is calling you. It's calling you to step up. It's calling you to step up. It's calling you to rise, to move, to be more than what you are today. Now, we've all been there. We've had those moments when we wanted to sit back, take it easy, and watch the world go by. We've been tempted to play it safe, stay in our comfort zones, and keep our heads down. But I want to remind you of something today. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Think about it. Every great achievement, every triumph, every breakthrough, it happened when someone decided to step up. It happened when someone answered the call. Not when they felt ready, not when the conditions were perfect, but in that raw, uncertain moment when they chose to act in spite of their fear. You see, God didn't put you here to play small. No, He put greatness inside of you. He gave you a unique gift, a calling, a purpose that only you can fulfill. And it's time to step up and claim it. But here's the truth, it's going to cost you something. The price of stepping up is high. It's sweat, it's sacrifice, it's staying up late when everyone else is asleep, it's putting in the work when no one's watching, it's facing your fears head on. The path to greatness is not paved with ease, it's paved with effort. Denzel Washington once said, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. If you're looking for an easy life, you're looking in the wrong place." The easy road? It's crowded, full of people who gave up on their dreams, who settled for mediocrity, who decided to blend in when they were born to stand out. But you've got a choice to make. Life is calling you. Are you going to let the call go to voicemail? Are you going to let fear talk you out of your destiny? Are you going to let doubt, discouragement, or the opinions of others hold you back? Or are you going to step up? Because when you step up, something magical happens. The universe starts to shift. Doors that seemed locked begin to open. Opportunities start to find their way to you. People who doubted you start to take notice. Your potential, which was once just a flicker, turns into a blazing fire. But you have to be willing to move. You have to be willing to answer the call. Now, stepping up doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It doesn't mean you won't have days when you feel like giving up. You will. We all do. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days when you dig deep and remember why you started in the first place. So when life calls you, don't ignore it. Don't send it to voicemail. Don't put it off until tomorrow, next week, or next year. Answer it. Step up. Take the risk. Face the challenge. And when you do, you'll find that the very things you were afraid of were the stepping stones to your destiny. I want you to say this with me: I am ready to step up. Say it again. With conviction, I am ready to step up. Because today is your day. This is your moment. And life is calling you, my friend. It's calling you to be the person you were meant to be. It's calling you to rise above your circumstances, to push past your limits, and to step into your greatness. Staying comfortable feels safe. It's that warm, familiar place where you know what to expect and everything is predictable. But let's get real for a moment. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die. The very idea of a comfort zone is deceiving. It lures you in, convincing you that staying put is the best way to avoid pain, failure, or disappointment. But in reality, comfort zones are silent killers of ambition, potential, and growth. The greatest tragedy isn't aiming high and missing, it's aiming low and hitting your target every time. It's staying in that safe place, watching life pass you by while you settle for less than you're capable of. Think about it, every significant leap forward in life, every breakthrough, and every achievement came when someone dared to step out of their comfort zone. It didn't happen when they played it safe or stuck to what was familiar. Growth requires risk, and risk inherently means discomfort. It's uncomfortable because you're stepping into the unknown, but that's where the magic happens. When you remain in your comfort zone, you limit your possibilities. You stay stuck in a routine that, while predictable, doesn't offer you the opportunity to expand your skills, build resilience, or discover new parts of yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. It's human nature to seek comfort. We are wired to look for the path of least resistance because historically that's what kept us safe. But we're no longer running from wild animals or searching for food in the wilderness. The threats we face today are different. They're internal. They're the voices in our heads telling us we're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. They're the doubts that creep in, convincing us that the risk isn't worth it, that stepping out into the unknown might lead to failure. But here's the truth: staying in your comfort zone is the biggest risk of all. You risk missing out on the life you could have had, the person you could have become, and the dreams you could have realized. Growth is painful, change is uncomfortable, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. If it never broke through the soil because it feared the unknown environment above, it would never become a tree. It would never bear fruit or provide shade. Its potential would remain buried. The same applies to you. Your comfort zone is that soil. Breaking through it is hard. It requires effort and perseverance, but that's the only way you grow. When you step out of your comfort zone, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're transforming yourself. You're building new skills, finding new strengths, and discovering abilities you never knew you had. You're putting yourself in situations that force you to adapt, learn, and evolve. You become resilient. You learn to handle challenges, overcome obstacles, and bounce back from failures. These are the moments that shape you, that build character, and that prepare you for greater success down the road. And let's talk about failure for a second. The fear of failure keeps so many people stuck in their comfort zones, but here's the irony: failure is part of the process. It's a necessary step on the path to success. When you avoid stepping out because you're afraid to fail, you're also avoiding the opportunity to learn and grow. Each failure is a lesson, a stepping stone that brings you closer to your goal. Staying comfortable might protect you from the pain of failure temporarily, but it also robs you of the chance to reach your full potential. Think about the people you admire most, whether they are athletes, artists, business leaders, or change makers. They all have one thing in common at some point: they decided to step out of their comfort zones. They faced the fear, the uncertainty, and the discomfort because they knew that's where growth happens. They knew that the only way to reach their goals was to take risks, to stretch themselves beyond what felt comfortable, and to embrace the challenges that came their way. So while staying in your comfort zone might feel safe, it's an illusion. It's the place where dreams fade, potential is wasted, and life becomes stagnant. If you want to achieve something great, if you want to live a life that's fulfilling and meaningful, you have to be willing to step out of that zone. You have to embrace the discomfort, knowing that it's a sign you're on the right path. Because every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand it, you grow. And as you grow, so do your opportunities, your abilities, and your confidence. You start to realize that the only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. And when you decide to push past those limits, to embrace the discomfort of the unknown, you open up a world of possibilities that you never knew existed. In the end, the choice is yours. You can stay comfortable or you can step up and grow. And when you choose growth, when you choose to face the discomfort head on, you'll look back one day and realize that everything you ever wanted was waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone. Greatness is a word we throw around often, but few truly understand what it means and what it costs. It's easy to admire the success stories, the icons, and the trailblazers who've reached incredible heights, but what we often fail to see is the sacrifice behind their achievements. It's the hours of practice, the sleepless nights, the countless rejections, and the failures that shape their journey. You see, greatness doesn't come easy. It isn't handed out, it's earned. And the price for it is steep. When you decide to pursue greatness, you're signing up for a journey that is far from comfortable. It's one filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments where you'll question whether it's all worth it. But that's the point. The struggle is part of the process. It's what separates those who dream of success from those who actually achieve it. Because everyone wants success, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. The truth is, the road to greatness is lonely. It's waking up early when everyone else is asleep. It's staying in on weekends to work on your craft while your friends are out having fun. It's pushing yourself when you're tired, sore, and frustrated because you know that every ounce of effort you put in today brings you one step closer to your goal tomorrow. This sacrifice isn't just about time or effort, it's also about choices. Every day you're faced with decisions that either bring you closer to your dreams or take you further away from them. You have to choose discipline over instant gratification, consistency over convenience, and long-term rewards over short-term comfort. It's easy to give in to distractions, to choose the path of least resistance, but those who are committed to greatness understand that sacrifice is a non-negotiable part of the equation. They understand that to get something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. And that often means giving up things that others are not willing to part with. One of the most significant sacrifices you'll have to make is your comfort. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you're always seeking the easy way out, if you're always staying in your safe zone, you'll never experience the growth required to achieve greatness. Growth comes from pushing your limits, from challenging yourself in ways that make you uncomfortable. It's about taking risks, making sacrifices, and being willing to face the pain that comes with stretching beyond your current abilities. You see, the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. And when you look back at your life, you don't want to see a trail of missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. You want to see a journey of resilience, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of something bigger than yourself. There's also a sacrifice of relationships. Pursuing greatness often requires you to make tough choices about the people you surround yourself with. Not everyone will understand your vision, and not everyone will support your journey. Some will try to hold you back, not out of malice, but because your determination makes them uncomfortable. It shines a light on their own insecurities and unfulfilled dreams. You might have to distance yourself from people who don't share your drive, who don't push you to be better, and who are content with mediocrity. It's not an easy decision, but it's a necessary one. To reach your highest potential, you need to be surrounded by those who uplift you, who challenge you, and who believe in your vision even when the odds are against you. The sacrifices made for greatness are not always tangible or visible to others. Often they happen behind closed doors, away from the spotlight. It's the countless hours spent practicing, the nights spent strategizing, the weekends dedicated to honing your craft when you could be relaxing. It's the emotional toll, the mental battles, and the physical exhaustion. It's giving up on the immediate pleasures for the promise of something far greater down the line. But it's in these quiet, unseen moments of sacrifice that greatness is forged. It's when no one is watching that the real work is done. When you see someone who has achieved a high level of success, know that they've paid the price. They've made the sacrifices that most people are not willing to make. They pushed through pain, faced rejection, and overcome countless obstacles. And that's why they stand out. Because greatness doesn't just happen, it's cultivated through years of hard work, perseverance, and sacrifice. It's about having a vision so clear and a desire so strong that you're willing to give up what's comfortable and familiar to achieve what seems impossible. The journey to greatness is long and arduous, and there will be times when you feel like giving up. You'll face moments when the sacrifices seem too great, when the struggle feels unbearable. But in those moments, remember why you started. Remember that every great achievement, every success story is built on a foundation of sacrifice. It's the price you pay for the life you want. And while the cost of greatness is high, the rewards are beyond measure. Because when you finally reach that pinnacle, when you achieve what you once thought was impossible, you'll realize that every sacrifice you made was worth it. You'll see that the price of greatness, while steep, was a small cost compared to the satisfaction of fulfilling your potential and living a life without limits. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience. It's that inner voice that whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if you fall flat on your face? And everyone sees fear can be paralyzing. It can keep you stuck in one place, hesitant to take the next step. But here's the thing about fear. It's a sign that you're about to do something important, something that matters. Fear isn't the enemy, it's a signal. It's your mind's way of telling you that you're standing at the edge of your comfort zone, about to step into uncharted territory where real growth happens. When life calls you to step up, fear will always be there, standing in your way. It's like a gatekeeper daring you to move forward. Most people see this as a warning sign to turn back, to retreat to the safety of what they know. But those who achieve greatness, those who fulfill their potential, see fear differently. They understand that fear is an invitation to grow, a challenge to overcome. They don't let it control them. Instead, they use it as fuel to push forward. The reality is, If you wait until you're no longer afraid, you'll be waiting forever. Fear doesn't go away, it just changes form. Today, you might be afraid of failing at a new project. Tomorrow, you might be afraid of success and the pressure it brings. Fear is a constant companion on the journey to greatness, and the only way to deal with it is to move forward despite it. This is what separates those who merely dream from those who actually do. It's not that the doers are fearless, it's that they choose to act despite their fear. The problem isn't the presence of fear, it's the way we respond to it. Most people let fear stop them. They feel the discomfort and retreat. They start second-guessing themselves, questioning their abilities, and convincing themselves that maybe it's better to stay where they are. They play it safe, choosing a path that's predictable and secure. But the path of least resistance rarely leads to greatness. It leads to mediocrity, to a life of unrealized potential and unfulfilled dreams. When you decide to act despite your fear, you take control of your life. You decide that your dreams are more important than your doubts, that your goals are worth the risk. It's a powerful shift in mindset. You start to see fear not as a stop sign, but as a green light, a signal that you're on the right path. The more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Each time you step up and push through, you build a little more courage, a little more courage, a little more resilience. It becomes a habit, a muscle that gets stronger with use. What's fascinating is that fear often disguises itself as logic or practicality. It tells you to wait until you're ready to gather more information, to take a smaller step. It masquerades as caution, convincing you that you're being smart by holding back. But deep down, you know the truth. You know that you're stalling because you're scared. And the only way to overcome that fear is to face it head on. You have to take action, even when every fiber of your being is telling you to turn back. Because the truth is, you will never feel completely ready. If you're waiting for a moment when you have no doubts, no anxieties, and no fears, that moment will never come. Life is calling you to step up, not when you feel fearless, but precisely because you feel fear. Fear is a sign that what you're doing is meaningful, that it has the potential to change your life. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be scared. So instead of letting fear hold you back, let it be your guide. Use it as a compass that points you toward the things that truly matter, the things that have the power to transform your life. It's not about eliminating fear, it's about understanding its role in your journey. It's about recognizing that every time you face a challenge that scares you, you're standing on the brink of growth. You're being given an opportunity to become stronger, braver, and more resilient. Every time you choose to act in spite of fear, you take a step closer to the person you're meant to be. So the next time you feel fear creeping in, don't run from it. Acknowledge it, thank it for showing you what's important, and then step up anyway. Because when you act despite your fear, that's when you truly begin to live. That's when you start to realize your potential, to unlock your greatness, and to create the life you've always dreamed of. Deep within each of us lies untapped potential, a reservoir of talent, creativity, and ability waiting to be unleashed. But this potential is like a seed, it remains dormant until you take action. It's easy to look at others who have achieved greatness and believe they were simply born with extraordinary gifts, but the truth is, everyone has potential. The difference lies in whether or not you choose to activate it. Just having potential isn't enough, it's what you do with it that counts. It's the daily choices you make, the risks you take, and the effort you put in that determine whether your potential remains a possibility or becomes a reality. Think of your potential as a hidden superpower, something that can only be accessed when you decide to challenge yourself. It doesn't reveal itself when you're comfortable or when you're doing what you've always done. It emerges when you push yourself beyond your limits, when you step into situations that demand more from you than you've ever given before. It's in these moments of discomfort and challenge that your potential begins to shine. You start to discover strengths you didn't know you had, skills you never thought you could develop, and resilience you never believed you possessed. Most people never tap into their true potential because they're afraid. They're afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of the unknown. They look at their goals and see only the obstacles, the hard work, and the possibility of disappointment. As a result, they choose to play small, to stay within the boundaries of what feels safe and familiar. But potential can't grow in a place of comfort. It requires you to stretch beyond what you think you're capable of. It's about daring to dream big, setting ambitious goals, and then doing the hard work necessary to reach them. It's about believing in your capacity to grow and improve, even when you don't see immediate results. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't start off as champions, they begin with raw potential. Through years of dedication, practice, and relentless effort, they unlock their abilities. They face countless setbacks, injuries, and moments of doubt, but they keep pushing because they know that their potential isn't something that can be fully realized overnight. It's something that needs to be cultivated, nurtured, and challenged consistently. Each day they show up, each time they push a little harder, they're activating more of their potential. It's a process of growth, not a one-time event. The same principle applies to any area of life, whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal development. If you want to see your potential come to life, you have to put yourself in situations that demand more from you. It means taking on challenges that scare you, setting goals that seem out of reach, and pursuing dreams that others might think are impossible. It's about understanding that your potential is limitless, but only if you're willing to do the work to uncover it. Many people go through life never truly knowing what they're capable of because they've never pushed themselves to the edge of their abilities. They've never put in the time, effort, or energy needed to break through the barriers that hold them back. They settle for mediocrity, not because they lack talent, but because they've never given themselves a chance to fully explore it. They've never taken the leap, never dared to see how far they could go if they just committed fully to their goals. It's not about instant success or overnight results. Activating your potential is a journey, one that requires patience, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace failure as part of the process. Failure isn't a sign that you lack potential, it's a sign that you're pushing the boundaries of what you're capable of. It's an indication that you're stepping into new territory, learning new skills, and challenging yourself in ways you haven't before. Each setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. Your potential is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. You owe it to yourself to see just how far you can go, to discover what you're truly capable of when you give it your all. It's about choosing to invest in yourself, to put in the time and effort even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, and even when you're not seeing immediate results. Because the real rewards come not just from achieving your goals, but from the process of becoming the person you need to be to achieve them. Think about it this way: every time you take a step towards your goal, every time you choose to push a little harder, you're not just making progress, you're unlocking more of your potential. You're discovering new strengths, developing new skills, and building the kind of resilience that only comes from stepping out of your comfort zone. Your potential is waiting for you to take that first step, to take action even when you're unsure, and to keep going even when it gets tough. You have to be willing to do the work, to take risks, and to face challenges head on. You have to be willing to fail, learn from it, and try again. Because when you do, you'll find that your potential isn't limited by your current circumstances or abilities. It's limited only by your willingness to take action. And the moment you decide to activate it, to push past your fears and doubts, is the moment you start to see just how powerful you really are. Every one of us has a calling, a unique purpose that only we can fulfill. It's that quiet but persistent voice deep within, urging us to move forward, to explore new opportunities, and to take steps towards our dreams. However, the problem is that most of us spend our lives waiting for the perfect moment. We wait for the stars to align, for the fear to fade away, and for all the conditions to be just right before we make a move. But here's the hard truth: there's no such thing as the perfect moment. If you keep waiting, you'll spend your entire life in a state of almost ready, almost brave enough, almost willing to take the leap. And that almost is where dreams go to die. The idea of waiting for the right time is comforting. It gives us a reason to delay action, to avoid the discomfort of stepping out into the unknown. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I have more experience, or I'll take the leap once I have everything figured out. But in reality, this is just an excuse, a way to justify our fear of failure. We hide behind this notion of readiness because it feels safer than putting ourselves out there and risking rejection, disappointment, or criticism. We convince ourselves that waiting is the smart thing to do, that it's about being prepared. But what we're really doing is stalling, letting our fears control our decisions instead of taking charge of our own lives. The truth is, if you look at the most successful people in any field, you'll find they didn't wait for the perfect time to start. They didn't wait until they were completely ready or until all the conditions were ideal. They took action even when they were scared, even when they didn't have all the answers. They understood that the perfect moment is a myth, a convenient illusion that keeps us stuck. They knew that action creates momentum and that progress comes not from waiting but from doing. By taking the first step, they started to build confidence, gain experience, and learn from their mistakes. They understood that the only way to truly be ready is to begin. Life is unpredictable, and waiting for the right moment means you're putting your future in the hands of circumstances beyond your control. You're giving up your power to make things happen because you're hoping that someday everything will magically align. But if you want to achieve your goals, you need to understand that there's no guarantee that this perfect moment will ever come. If you keep waiting for it, you might miss out on incredible opportunities that are right in front of you. You have to take control of your destiny by acting now, by making a move even when you feel unprepared, because the real preparation happens when you step into the arena, when you take on the challenge and learn as you go. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of being ready, to think that you need to have all your ducks in a row before you can start. But that's not how growth works. You grow by doing, by stepping out before you feel ready, and by figuring things out along the way. The first step is often the hardest because it's filled with uncertainty and fear. But once you take that step, the path starts to reveal itself. You start to gain clarity, experience, and insight that you couldn't have gained by simply waiting on the sidelines. Consider how many dreams have been put on hold because someone was waiting for the perfect time. Think about the countless ideas that never came to fruition because their creators were too scared to take action. Waiting is the easiest thing to do, but it's also the most costly. It costs you time, potential, and the chance to make a real impact. The longer you wait, the more you convince yourself that you're not ready, and the harder it becomes to take the first step. You build up the fear in your mind until it feels insurmountable, and before you know it, you've spent years stuck in the same place, wondering what could have been if you had only started earlier. The beauty of taking action now, even when you don't feel ready, is that it sets things in motion. It creates a ripple effect. One small step leads to another. And before you know it, you've built momentum. You start to see progress, and that progress fuels your motivation. You begin to realize that you're more capable than you thought, that you don't need to have everything figured out from the beginning. The path to success isn't a straight line. It's a journey filled with twists, turns, and unexpected detours. But you'll never know what's possible if you're too afraid to take that first step. Every day you wait is a day lost. It's a missed opportunity to grow, learn, and make progress towards your goals. You don't have to be perfect to start, you just have to be willing. Willing to take the leap, willing to risk failure, and willing to learn along the way. The perfect moment isn't some magical time in the future when everything falls into place. The perfect moment is now, the moment you decide to take control of your life and start moving towards your dreams. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and your goals isn't a lack of readiness. It's the decision to take action despite the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In today's world, we often see success stories of people who have achieved incredible things. We admire their accomplishments and sometimes even envy their journeys. But what we usually don't see is the struggle that lies beneath the surface, the hard work, the sacrifices, and the relentless effort that built the foundation of their success. The truth is, most of us are capable of achieving great things, but the biggest challenge isn't external, it's internal. It's about breaking free from the limitations we place on ourselves, overcoming the doubts and insecurities that keep us from stepping up to our true potential. It's about recognizing that the only person standing between where you are now and where you want to be is you. The first and most significant barrier to success is often our own mindset. It's easy to blame circumstances, the economy, or the lack of opportunities for why we're not where we want to be. But the reality is, the biggest obstacle is usually our own thinking. We create stories about why we can't succeed, why we're not good enough, or why the timing isn't right. These stories become our excuses, and the more we tell them to ourselves, the more we start to believe them. We begin to see limitations not as challenges to overcome, but as insurmountable barriers. This mindset keeps us trapped in a cycle of inaction, where we never even try to push past our fears because we've convinced ourselves that it's not possible. Another crucial aspect of breaking free from self-imposed limitations is taking action. Action is the antidote to fear. When you take action, even if it's a small step, you begin to dismantle the power that fear holds over you. The more you act, the more you realize that the limitations you've set for yourself are not as strong as you once believed. Each step forward builds momentum, and with each new challenge you face, you become more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. This momentum creates a positive cycle of growth and progress where each success builds upon the last, helping you to push even further beyond your perceived limits. Breaking free from self-imposed limitations also requires surrounding yourself with the right people. The company you keep can have a significant impact on your mindset and motivation. If you're surrounded by people who doubt you or reinforce your limiting beliefs, it's much harder to break free from them. But if you surround yourself with individuals who believe in you, who push you to be better, and who encourage you to pursue your dreams, you'll find it much easier to overcome your doubts. These people can serve as a mirror, reflecting back your potential even when you can't see it yourself. Ultimately, breaking free from self-imposed limitations is about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that you have the ability to shape your own destiny, that you are not bound by the constraints you once believed in. It's about stepping up to the challenge of becoming the person you were meant to be, not settling for a life dictated by fear, doubt, or the opinions of others. It's about deciding that your dreams are worth the risk, that your potential is worth exploring, and that your life is worth living fully without holding back. One of the most significant reasons people hesitate to step up and pursue their dreams is the fear of what others might think. We live in a world where external validation often seems to carry more weight than our own internal convictions. The opinions of others, whether they're friends, family, or strangers, can have a profound impact on how we see ourselves and our potential. But if you want to live a life of purpose and fulfillment, you must learn to stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what you think and believe about yourself. The truth is, the people who matter are the ones who support you and encourage you to grow, not those who try to hold you back out of fear or doubt. The fear of judgment often stems from a desire for approval. As human beings, we crave connection and acceptance. We want to fit in, to be seen as competent, and to avoid standing out in ways that might make us vulnerable to criticism. This desire for approval can be so powerful that it paralyzes us, keeping us from taking risks or stepping out of our comfort zones. We might avoid pursuing a dream, starting a business, or expressing our true selves because we're afraid of what others will say or think. The irony is that in doing so, we live our lives based on other people's expectations rather than our own desires, which can lead to feelings of resentment, regret, and a sense of unfulfillment. When you constantly worry about the opinions of others, you give them power over your choices. You allow their perceptions and judgments to shape your actions and decisions, leaving you little room to express your authentic self or pursue your true passions. This fear often manifests in various ways. Self-doubt, hesitation, and procrastination are just a few of the signs that you're allowing other people's opinions to control your life. But the more you live in fear of what others think, the more you limit your own potential. The most successful, fulfilled, and content people are the ones who have learned to trust their own instincts, to follow their own path, and to make decisions based on what they believe is right for them, not based on how others perceive them. You need to recognize that no matter what you do, someone somewhere is going to have an opinion about it. And not all opinions are going to be positive. It's simply a reality of life. There will always be critics, naysayers, and people who doubt you. The key to moving past this is understanding that the opinions of others are not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. People's judgments are often influenced by their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. They project their doubts onto you, but that doesn't mean you have to accept them. Their thoughts about you don't define who you are, and they certainly don't dictate your potential. The other truth is that most people are too focused on their own lives to think about yours as much as you might fear. While you might think everyone is watching and judging your every move, in reality, most people are concerned with their own challenges, struggles, and aspirations. When you realize this, you begin to understand that you don't have to live your life according to anyone else's standards. You are the author of your own story, and you have the power to decide the direction it takes. Your dreams, ambitions, and goals are valid no matter what others think. Another key to overcoming the fear of judgment is building your self-confidence and self-worth. The more you believe in your own value and abilities, the less power other people's opinions will have over you. Confidence is not something that happens overnight. It's something you build over time through action and self-reflection. When you step up and take risks, when you pursue what you're passionate about, and when you keep going despite the obstacles, your confidence grows. With every step you take, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and worthy of success. Learning to ignore the opinions of others doesn't mean you become arrogant or dismissive of constructive feedback. It means you stop allowing fear of judgment to hold you back. It means you develop a sense of inner strength and conviction in your path, regardless of whether others approve or not. It means you stop living in the shadows of other people's expectations and start living for yourself. The power to step up and pursue your dreams is in your hands. You are the one who gets to decide if you're going to let other people's opinions define your actions, or if you're going to take control of your own life and pursue what truly matters to you. The more you realize that your worth is not dependent on others' approval, the more liberated you will feel. You'll be able to step into your true potential and pursue your goals without constantly second-guessing yourself. The key to living a fulfilling life is not about pleasing everyone or seeking constant validation. It's about finding your own voice, trusting your instincts, and moving forward with the courage to be yourself. So the next time you hesitate because you're worried about what others might think, remind yourself that your life is yours to live, and the only opinion that truly matters is your own. In the journey of life, you are being called to step up, to rise above your fears, doubts, and limitations. It's time to embrace the truth that your potential is limitless and that the only barriers standing in your way are the ones you place there yourself. Life is not waiting for the perfect moment. The moment is now. It's not about waiting for conditions to be ideal or for others to approve of your path. It's about having the courage to take action, to face the challenges head on, and to keep moving forward even when the road gets tough. The world is full of opportunities, but they will remain out of reach unless you step into them with confidence and determination. Remember, the opinions of others are just that, opinions. They don't define your worth or your potential. The only thing that truly matters is your belief in yourself and your willingness to do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, and even when you don't feel ready. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to realizing the greatness within you. Life is calling you to be more, do more, and become more. It's time to answer that call and step up. Your future is waiting, and it begins with the decision to take that first step. You have everything you need inside of you to succeed. All that's left is for you to take the leap and trust yourself. So step up and let the world see what you are truly capable of. Thank you.